Full tide. Alabama avenges its regular season loss to Oklahoma, beating the Sooners 34-24 in the college football playoff first round in Norman. Down 17-0. The Tide rally, scoring 27 straight points. Ty Simpson tossing 2 touchdowns to freshman Latsier Brooks, his first 2 career touchdown catches. Alabama outscored Oklahoma 34-7 after trailing 17-0 in the first half, advancing to play top-seeded Indiana in the Rose Bowl on January 1st. Alongside CBS Sports college football insider Richard Johnson and former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt, I am Hakeem Dermish. Emory, we questioned Alabama after their blowout loss to Georgia in the SEC championship. Could they match the intensity of Oklahoma? Early on, it didn't look like what we thought was going to happen. Then they overcame that, and they scored 27 in a row. What did you see from the Tide in this game as they're able to overcome that 17-0 deficit?
Fortuitous bounces their way. You had the drop pass by Oklahoma's running back deep down the field, which could have been a touchdown, and that sort of got things rolling because after that, you had the block punt. And then we saw them score a touchdown, 6 points off a turnover with a pick six. So at the end of the day, Bama got back in the groove because of a drop pass, block punt, and their defense got going. And what's crazy is because it was due to Ty Simpson's throwing the football, because Bama really had no run game outside of one big run, a 30-yard game. But at the end of the day, this was all about Ty Simpson finding the groove. The offensive line did what it had to do. We talked about this, Richard, when we were watching the game. Caden Proctor, outside of maybe the third series of the first quarter, he locked in and locked down the edge and did a fantastic job, along with the rest of those guys up front, giving Simpson time to get back there and pick the defense apart.
I thought Ty Simpson was a completely different quarterback once he stopped getting pressured in the last 3 quarters of the game. Once Alabama was able to protect him, he was able to lock in, step up, find some different receivers, finds the freshman there a lot of times in that game, and Latsier Brooks, and really got things going for Alabama. Alabama didn't run the ball really well at all, which we figured was going to be the case. Even with Jam Miller back in this game, you thought, well, maybe they'd get a little bit, but no. It's sort of same old song and dance for Alabama on offense. The defense, though, stepping up. I mean, Oklahoma motored down the field and put those points up, and then Alabama locked down. It was Alabama that started getting after John Mateer. It was Alabama that forced errant throws from John Mateer because he was off his spots with some wonky mechanics. I mean, so many times it felt like John Mateer was throwing fadeaway balls. And look, Oklahoma couldn't really run the ball either. John Mateer got 19 carries in this game. We talked in the pregame about how John Mateer was going to have to tote the rock in this game. I just thought he'd do it with more success than he did it in this game. It seemed like Alabama up front really won the day at the end on both sides of the ball.
And it's crazy because when was the last time you can remember Alabama and Oklahoma not having a dude at tailback that you could hang your hats on and say, they're going to lean on this guy. He can really tote the rock. Both backfields were non-existent. I know Alabama dealt with injury, but, man, we're usually saying, oh, this is who they have to stop for Alabama. This is who they have to stop for Oklahoma. That was not the case tonight, and that just shocks me for these two blue blood programs to not have what is usually a Tiffany position, have someone they could turn around to and get them back to going offensively. No run game for either team. It was all on the quarterbacks tonight.
Daniel Hill did make a couple nice plays, had the 30-yard run and then the touchdown where he muscled in. And look, this game is 17-7, right? Second quarter, critical moment in the game. Mateer out of pressure, deep throw to Xavier Robinson off his fingertips. Then Oklahoma goes to punt it. The punter drops the ball. Alabama recovers at the 30. It leads to a field goal to make it 17-10. And at that point, Richard, you were like, okay, here comes the Tide. And it did. It was able to overcome the deficit, but it was those critical mistakes in those moments that put Oklahoma behind.
Yeah, and then a wonky game management decision from Brent Venables. They've got about 20 seconds left in the first half. You know Alabama's getting the ball coming out of the half, and they had a timeout, and they just went into the locker room at halftime. I was confused about why Oklahoma managed the end of the half like that. I thought they should have tried to maximize the fact that they had the ball. Alabama was rolling, and Alabama was winning the middle eight. Well, they won the first 4 of the middle 8, we should say, because they came out of half and they didn't really do much. But Alabama, they got things going into half. You just really have to credit how Alabama grew into this game. And again, Oklahoma in this game. It's almost a flip side of the other 2 games that Brent Venables and Kalen DeBoer have matched up, right? It was Alabama that got the defensive touchdown. It was Alabama that got the fortuitous bounce on special teams. It was Oklahoma that messed up on special teams. Two.
Right.
Tate Sandell missed field goals at the end of the 4th quarter. So Alabama, it's funny because they outplay them for the most part in the November game, but the turnovers doom them. I mean, in the end, they outplayed them, but I don't think they outplayed them for 60 minutes in this game, like it did seem like they did in November. But at the end, they're on the right side of the scoreboard because some fortuitous bounces and the ability to make a run in this game.
Emory, it was that stretch, though, right? They kicked the field goal to make it 17-10. Oklahoma has the ball back, and then it's Mateer who throws the pick 6 to Xavier Brown. It's a flipping of the script because in the first meeting it was Ty Simpson throwing a pick 6 to Eli Bowen. And then all of a sudden, it goes from 17-0 to 17 all at halftime. Mateer's first career pick 6. It was those critical moments that became the turning point.
Right, and after that, we didn't see much imagination offensively from Oklahoma, like we saw in the first quarter, where they layered things perfectly. They sequenced certain plays to where you had your eyes in the backfield. The next thing you know, guys slipping right behind you for a touchdown. Once Bama got back to neutral, everything offensively went out the window in terms of the passing game. It was very rudimentary, and it was very basic. And Alabama was rallying up, making tackles, emphatic tackles, and really getting them off the field. And I always said this, when you're watching college athletes play, and then you look to the sideline, and if I see the coach flipping out on the sideline, how do you expect me, the player, to keep my composure in a tense moment? There was time, this game was 17-0 for a good stretch. Oklahoma wasn't out the game, but they started to play tense. Bama seemed a little bit more relaxed. They got the job done, even though they gave up a few plays every now and then. What was cool was that when both teams got inside the red zone, they scored. But once they inside the 20, that's when you needed those plays to be made. Simpson made those plays throwing the football, got the ball to many different targets, even worked the tight end in there as well. Oklahoma couldn't really do much in the passing game because how unimaginative it was throughout the course of the game.
I mean, Oklahoma has 1 touchdown in the second half.
Yep.
It's just a bunch of punts and a couple missed field goals there at the end. Again, Oklahoma's offense let them down. Again, only 3 touchdowns scored. Oklahoma has not scored more than 3 offensive touchdowns against a power conference team so far this season, and they didn't tonight.
Well, we questioned that coming in, right? When we did the pregame show, we talked about where are they going to get points. Well, they looked great to start, right? 17-0. But then Ty Simpson here, Emory, he struggled down the stretch. 18 of 29, 232, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. What was different for Ty Simpson in this game as he hooks up with the freshman a couple of times, Latsier Brooks, for touchdowns?
The offensive line gave him time. And we watched the game. It was like anytime he's heated up or has to get off the spot, it's a wrap. The ball is going to spray around all over the place. But when he had time to really set and plant his feet and throw the football, it was accurate. It was placed perfectly. And we saw that outside of the first 3 series of the first quarter and for the rest of the game. So that got them back into the game, got them the lead, and ultimately got them the win.
I mean, for Oklahoma, it's such a failure for them. You give up a 17-point lead at home with the season on the line. I mean, I know that Oklahoma has kind of gotten away with it a little bit at times so far this season. The Auburn game, obviously the first time these 2 teams played, the LSU game later. I get it. But at the end of the day, you're up 17 points against this Alabama team. You had them on the ropes and were doing everything you wanted. And Alabama was able to storm back, take this game by the scruff of the neck. And at the second they tied the game, you were kind of like, all right, like this is a wrap here.
Yeah, because here's the thing. When you have the lead, that's when you think, okay, let's turn around, hand the ball off.
And what, a Brent Venables defense up 17 points?
That was curtain.
It's target practice.
Exactly.
For that defensive line. You're just coming after Ty Simpson all night.
And they had no option to really get the game back in control. It was like, hey, Mateer, go make a play. And how many times we saw Mateer scramble out of a clean pocket, scramble to